Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another edition of Purpose for Forever. I'm Anthony. This is Samantha. You know, we do every Monday at 8 p.m. I forgot what day it was. Every Monday at 8 p.m. we do our thing and we bring on it. It's looking a little interesting.
Yeah, just a little bit, but it's okay.
Every Monday at 8 p.m. we come on and we discuss with other couples their journey and things that they've learned, as well as we talk about stuff we learned, and we have a great conversation. All right. So you know what we do. Make sure you share. Sharing is caring. And we're going to go ahead and kick it off. And we'll be
right back.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. I was bobbing to the music still.
I know. You guys picked a great pick. I love that one. That's one of my favorites.
Awesome.
All right. So tonight, guys, we're going to introduce, and I'm feeling like I'm about to mess this up. So, Dr. and Dr. twice. Look at that. Dr. J.L. and Dr. K. Oh.
There you go.
Adolph.
Yeah, we'll go with Adolph. I'm just one of those sassy hyphenated women, but it's okay.
Listen, and I heard you say when you were on Brother Legacy, Adolph PH, not with the F. So
definitely.
Oh yes.
Yeah, you don't want the other Adolf. That would be very bad. You would lose some audience members.
When you come in, like, oh, really? And we, let us know.
Unfortunately, drama brings folks.
All right.
Okay, so I'm about to share.
I can share while you talk.
Okay,
All
I'm
right.
talking. He's sharing. All right, guys. So I know we asked offline, but we're gonna ask for the viewers' benefit as well. So tell us how you met. We usually always ask the couples, tell us your first time. Like, did you see it across the room, Jay, and be like, "Ooh, I need that in my life," or did you see him, Kay, across the room and like, "Oh, I like all that milk chocolate." So tell us how you guys met.
Well, it was funny. We met because, of course, we were both students at our alma mater, University of Missouri Columbia. Mizzou, go Tigers. So we met there. And what happened was she was working on a psychology project where she had to do a psych report on graduate students. And a friend of mine, our friend Constance, was like, hey, well, this sister, she's doing stuff, to look at the mind or psychology of a graduate student of color.
Or any adult.
Of color. And I volunteered to do that. And, that's where I first met. So it's funny, like we always joke and say she knew my crazy before she got with me.
Yeah, I actually have a psychological profile of him. Yeah.
Wow.
So she got my psych report and all of that. And then.
And you still married him?
I did.
I know.
But we weren't trying to date at that time, though.
Okay.
No, we weren't trying to date. We were just cool. And we just found ourselves at the same circle. So I used to do like a bunch of spoken word poetry spots in Columbia. And so I used to do like hosting and stuff. And then I invited her to come out. She came out, would see me host and do that. And then it was funny. I would probably say the romantic spark probably happened with her checking me out. I had at the time,
I knew it was coming. Their opinions on it.
Okay,
Go on.
at the time, I had lost like a ton of weight because I had been through a divorce and stuff. So you get into that divorce in shape. You just start lifting weights. And my arms were popping, everything. I was like, hey, I gotta attract somebody before this all collapses. Anyway, so She saw me
At church.
At church.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
She saw me at church, and then she's inboxed me.
No, I didn't.
Back it up.
Well, what? You posted it on Facebook?
Yes,
Either way it
and
goes.
that's the whole point of the story.
It was a public post that said, you looking good, just not that I was checking you out. And I'm like,
and a wink face.
And a wink face.
But my
On
thing,
public. Wow.
public.
On public.
Then you
Public.
just, I was like, hey, good to see you at church, whatever. It was like, looking good. Not that I'm checking you out or anything, you know.
Wow.
So I
Okay.
feel like if it's your inbox, you making a move. But if it's out publicly, you just saying it. He claimed it was flirting.
Okay.
Well,
I'm with Dr. J.L.
yeah, okay.
I'm with you, brother. I'm looking like,
Thank
for
you.
real now?
Right, exactly.
No, y'all always looking for somebody to be flirting with y'all. That's
I'm in the gym and paying off.
You got my back.
Yeah, like I said, man, I was man. I guess she was seeing me as a snack now, man. So, that's what she was doing, man. And so, I was looking like a junior mint then. I was lifting weights and, chocolatey sparking and stuff, man. She, saw me as a junior mint, man. So that's what happened. Then I got with her, and then I'm like, I don't need to work out anymore.
So after I publicly gave a compliment, he inboxed me.
He inboxed me.
Oh.
Nah, I'm good. And that was it. So probably was like a year later. So we still weren't trying to get together.
Wow.
Still weren't. And I remember I came back here to Georgia and I was talking with my first lady at the church. And she's like, you thought about getting married or whatever? And I was like, I ain't thinking about nobody. Nobody's around. She was like, maybe you already met him. And literally a few days later, who was in my inbox talking about I want to get to know you better. And I was like, what?
Right.
And so it took a while between him volunteering to do the testing. Through that process, we realized we went to church together. Right. So he was at one service, I was at another.
Right.
And then it just progressed over time, just being friends and, or supporting each other through the grad school process. And then yada, yada, yada. He made his move, but he swears I made the first move of flirting. I still say no. But
So about how long did you guys date?
Ooh, we dated
before getting married?
Yeah.
Yes.
4 years.
Yeah, it was about 3 or 4 years. So we
3 or 4 years.
Got together 2011. Mm-hmm. We got married in 2015. We had a short engagement. We had been together 3-something years already. So I got engaged December. Was it Christmas Eve?
Yeah, Christmas
Eve 2014. And then we got married July 7/11, 2015.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so really short, but we had been together.
Yeah, we had been together 3.5 years, and then after engagement, I was like, So
let me ask you this, right? And this is going back, right? This is for my single people, right? So you put the public post up about how we look. You were just, like he was cool looking. Was his inbox too quick, or should he just made a post in the public post? Would that been better?
Ooh. I think the inbox, but the inbox wasn't like a date. It was just like, hey, you looking good too. And I was like, thanks, I try.
She wasn't because she wasn't hitting on him.
No, I get it. I'm just saying, like, but there was like at least somewhat of an attraction, for you to say that.
I can think you look nice. That don't mean no.
Just because you
rewrite their love story.
I'm not. I'm just trying to help my brothers and sisters that may see this later. Like, okay, she did say something live. Then how could I move this along? Or how could I make my move?
Right.
I get a positive result.
The inbox would have worked if if my head was there, but it really
wasn't. You just
in real talk, I wasn't in that space either. Because
you weren't ready. I got you.
I had been because I had got divorced in 2010.
Okay.
And so what happened was I had to go through some things, to get.
He was out there.
right. Just make it plain. Right.
I would say I had to recalibrate.
I got you.
And then, I had to recalibrate and get back. You know, so it probably would have been a good time if I would have tried to like go forward. You know, it probably would have been a good time.
See the number keep blinking like it's
Yeah.
trying to change.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. So, JL, so at what point, like, when did you know that you wanted to marry her? Like, was there something that happened? Did you just wake up and be like, okay, let's do this? Like, when did you know?
You know what? We had communicated for so long, and I remember something that my aunt had said to me. She was like, "You really need to know a person a full all 4 seasons.
All 4 seasons.
You
Right.
know, you really have to know that person all 4 seasons." And then I got to know her over 3 full seasons. You know,
Yeah.
and we always had fun, good communication, and I have always viewed her as just more than like really a friend, you know.
Right.
So you know, it for me it was like a no-brainer. After I had met her family, we're going down visiting, so it just felt like the next progression, the next step would be to have like the full commitment to move on, because I wasn't interested in anyone else. And why are we going to play around? I think 3 years or so it's enough to know where you're going to be, where you want to be. So I didn't have to play around. I knew where I wanted to be, and so I just wanted to make that official. So I would say that was it.
I wanted to date exclusively. But he's like, no.
Nah, I wasn't gonna play that date exclusively, because then if I knew personally, if we didn't have an official, that bond, if we didn't feel like we needed to make that deep commitment, then why am I wasting time and why is she wasting time? We could be using that time to find somebody who really wants that commitment. And after that, I knew I wanted to be serious. I didn't want to play around. Yeah, I can't be, we just exclusive friends, because then that opens the door for other friends.
Right.
You have other friends.
Nah, I'm not doing that. No.
So that's what you said. Well, if we just gonna be friends, then I can see somebody else. I was like, no, you won't.
Right. We're friends, right? So,
right.
So what's interesting though, so he's coming off divorce, kids, relationships. I hadn't been with anybody in over a decade.
Wow.
So I was not dating. It was me and the Lord.
Praise him.
Me and Jesus was together.
Until Satan stepped in.
Pretty much.
Hey.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you gotta tell them about your message. So one of the inboxes. I need to, get busy. I need to. I'm trying to get more active, stay busy, go walk. And he's like, yeah, I can keep you busy. ...
No, I said I can keep you active.
Yeah, I can help you stay active. ...
And what I meant by active, I meant a training regimen. That's what
Right. I'm with you, brother. I was thinking.
See, why they always gotta think it's that way? It's
training regimen. Exercise.
Like,
trying to get them,
it makes sense.
Okay, so Dr. K, let me ask you a question. So you so what is your professional title? I'm
a licensed psychologist.
Okay. So, and I know you mentioned he participated in some studies, so you had like his psych, evaluation previous.
Yes.
Okay, so like when y'all start dating, did you go back and read it again?
I probably did. But I knew he was a good guy though.
Okay.
I knew he was a good guy. Had been through some things as many people had. But was doing the work for himself. And what I loved about him most was him being a dad.
Okay.
So it was funny, like family was the thing I think that attracted us most. Right. I loved who he was as a father. In fact, that's kind of how I think things started turning. Like he was telling me about something with the kids, and I thought I saw them. He was like, no, we had some issues on the road. So, the tire blew out or something like that. And I was like, how that had to be scary. You got 4 kids out there. you know, whatever. And he's like, yeah, just trying to be strong for them. And I don't know, my spirit. And I said to him, I was like, well, you're taking care of so many people. Who's taking care of you? And it wasn't in a like nasty kind of way. But it was,
No,
right. No, I got you.
so then, you know, I think that's what bonded us. I just loved him as a dad. And then he loved my family. And so that's how we made it happen.
I would say the thing with her was the fact that she was the first woman that I met that really had a close relationship with her father as well as her grandfather. So that was very important to me because when I looked over the history of my dating, I had been with women that really, like myself, didn't have a father in their life. And so, you know, it was important for me this next go around. I really said that it was going to be important that I know that the woman that I'm with has some positive relationship with a male figure that's, you know, not a toxic one. And so when she talked about her love for her father as well as her love for her grandfather, that really drew me in even more. Just that, you know, having that and the fact that I didn't have that, it really kind of, you know, it felt like a sense of home.
Oh, there we go. Okay, cool.
I'm sorry, Facebook. You know, well, I don't know if you guys tried to get on earlier. If you noticed that Facebook has been down, right? So like we sitting here and it was just blank on our side, and it kept flashing, and then all of a sudden people just flashed.
So do we need to reshoot it over again?
No, we good.
Because we can always replay it like on the page.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're good.
That's
So
fine.
I have a question. So Dr. K, okay. You meet him, y'all start dating. He has 4. You biologically have none.
Yeah.
Was that like a whole new world? Like
it was like, yeah. It was definitely different. They were, gosh, how old? Like 11, 9, and 7.
Yeah.
Twins.
Oh. Wow. So was the oldest a girl or a boy?
A boy.
Okay, so that make it a little
11-year-old boy. The 9-year-old was a girl at the time. Well, at the time. The 9 was a girl. And then 2 boys.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, so 1 girl. Okay.
6 about to turn.
Yeah,
7.
they were 6. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was definitely different. And so, but my mom comes from a big family. She was very supportive. And so she's like, you know, you can't hold that against them. You know, like if you all have a good relationship, then that's all that matters. So of course you have like friends or family, like he got all them kids. You know, like you don't do that. You don't have any of your own. But I work with kids and families. And so again, family is so important. So I didn't see it as like a deterrent. And like when I say I loved him for being such a good dad, he was a good dad. So I didn't feel like I'm coming in to be somebody's mom. He had them week on and week off. So we had a chance during their week off to, you know, have like dating time, just the 2 of us. And then he integrated me in when they came for their visits. And so it didn't feel like I was going into something so major, like I'm here to take over or do. I was kind of blending in. So
okay, so that's a great point that you said. You said he integrated you in. So J.L, tell us, what was that like? Like, did you sit down with the kids and have conversations, or did you just, hey, this her, and act right?
First and foremost, it was important for me to really vet and get to know her. So we had moments where, you know, they didn't know anything about her, and it was just basically, it was kind of like, you know, it was a part-time lover, you know, that sort of thing. So on the weeks that I didn't have them, I would, you know, spend time with her. But, you know, we would talk on the phone and that sort of thing after, you know, the kids were, you know, in the bed and that sort of thing. So I would have contact, but then, you know, I just slowly began to tell them about her and that, you know, I have someone that I want you to meet. and that sort of thing. And so, I wanted to slowly integrate them into that because, I think it's hard for any type of kid to see their parent move on, but it is important that they see that they move on, that sort of thing.
Right.
So, yeah, I just slowly introduced them. And then, it's like I said, it was definitely, an adjustment process because we've been through ups and downs with the kids, and that's just the nature of divorce and that sort of thing. But, I would say all of them would probably say that they know that Karen is fair. She's there for them, that, she has their best interest, and that she is, a co-parent. And it's important, that I make that statement because we tend to think co-parent is just, the biological, but any person that's really parenting and having an influence on our kids is a co-parent. So he can even be an uncle or whatever. If they are playing a major role in the parenting, that's co-parenting. So I would say, I have nothing but respect for her as, as my co-parent as well.
Okay. So the transition, you have to sit down, you kind of slowly move her into your ecosystem. What were some of the challenges starting off relating to you guys as well as the mother outside of mother outside the relationship? Because I didn't establish that part, but the mother outside the relationship, how was that dynamic with kind of blending that up?
So you want to answer that first, or you want me to?
Alice, you can.
That was the Claire Huxtable answer.
Right.
Go ahead, Cliff.
Right.
Oh man. I would probably say this. The dynamic with my ex-wife was going to be challenging no matter who I had.
I got you.
Because it was obviously when you get a divorce, it was major factors that led to the break. I mean, no one gets into, marriage and that sort of thing to fail. And so when that fails, it's a grieving process and that sort of thing. And I would probably say different people grieve and do things in different ways. And I would say her take on the relationship was more toxic than necessary.
Okay.
And I think, and I know that, she in many ways did. I would probably say it tried to put us in a lot of uncomfortable situations that were toxic. Okay. And eventually we just realized that no matter what, we just have to, continue our bond and that sort of thing. In terms of the kids, I would say sometimes the worst thing that, a divorcee parent can do is pass the toxicity that they may have for an adult onto the children. Because at the end of the day, the kids suffer because you're, poisoning their chance to establish a relationship and seeing that people can be apart and still function well. So I would probably say, it was definitely challenging on those ends with the toxicity, but that's not to say that, it wasn't always pretty. It wasn't always perfect. But the main thing that I made painfully clear to my own children was her and I are a bond. She's going nowhere. So I'm holding up the standard, and this is what it's going to be. You may not agree, you may not like, but you're going to respect, and you're going and and that and of course and Karen or Kay would just offer that same respect. I wouldn't have them around anyone that I know would do any harm to them. So, so that was the thing. But I would say for any couple that's out there that's dealing with that, you got to gravitate and pull more towards each other when you have those forces trying to tear you. Like it's like the sinking of the ship. The ship doesn't sink until you let the water from the outside come in. We kept water out, and we kept our ship tight. And I think that's what made our bond strong.
All right. Wow, that was good. Yeah. So Kay, so for you, because of your background and all of your studies and that type of stuff, do you think it made it easier for you to navigate the situation, like in terms of understanding the behaviors a little more and not taking it personal? Some of the things?
Yes, from the kids.
Okay.
Not from the kids, yes. I'll put it that way. Yeah.
Okay, so we know both of you guys got your doctorate. So was that something y'all decided to do collectively? Like, was that like a decision y'all made together? Or was it like she started and he was like, oh, you're not going to outsmart me. And so then you got yours?
No, actually, we were both in programs. We were working on our doctorate when we met each other.
Oh, okay.
So we met in grad school. No, she was doing her thing with psychology, and and then I was doing my thing with the English department. So it's funny. Like her and I ended up crossing paths on a lot of things because my work really looks at, like, I look at hip hop lyrics and how it. The messaging that it has about fatherhood. Right. And so, from a father and fathering perspective. And by her being in psychology, we would just have like discussions about, the world. A lot of people don't realize the world of English and the world of psychology are like interconnected because Freud links both of them together. So, so that's one of the things that bonded us really, like our minds. We would have some dates in the library. So that was
our first. I think the first time we met up.
Yeah.
Was at the library. Yeah. We meet at the library. We go different places to stuff. Like we meet at McDonald's, and just as long as they have Wi-Fi. We were meeting, and then he did keep me active. We would go on walks.
There you go.
Get it, brother. Get it.
So we would walk and study. That was a lot of it, and met up at church. So.
Right. I think that's another thing that attracted me to her as well. I love the way that her mind, she just, the way that she thought about things, and, as it relates to family, and because her area again is working with children, counseling, psychology, and my English work was working with fatherhood. So in many cases, we're both kind of dealing with the same type of issues, but we both have different ways and methods of dealing with that issue. So, but in spite of all of that, in spite of the fact that she is a psychologist and my study was in fatherhood, still was a challenge for raising those kids. You can know the knowledge, but it's like you still got to apply it, because it's some things you like, hey, brother, I want to still kick you down a flight of steps. I just know not to do that. But
it definitely changed my perspective in my work. All this stuff, and now I see why parents would look at me the way they did when I would say certain things. About and being long suffering, and look at them, I know she's this way and that, and like I never thought I would make some of the decisions that I did, and I never would have imagined that. But we like you said, we had some challenges. It was, and that's not saying it lightly. We had some challenges, but it was all a decision, and like he said, because he covered me and made our relationship a priority, and not priority over the kids. Everything was always about them. Everything. I mean, first vacation away, the first thing we talked about, they would love this one would love the science center here, this one would love this, and then you come back and the kids are like, I don't know, and it's like, who told you? Where did you lose your way? Like, good. So it was definitely a big shock to see things change the way that it did, but we navigated it together.
Well, that's good. That's good. Go ahead.
Okay, so J.L, so you started talking about I believe it's called Dad Cipher, right? Because I've
Yeah.
been following the page
There you go.
and stuff. So tell us about that and tell us what prompted you to, how did you come up with Dad Cipher? Like, where did it come from?
Okay, so it's a brother in Atlanta named Kenneth Braswell, and he does Fathers Incorporated. And
Okay. I heard of that.
they were in Nashville. And what was that? The Flame and Fatherhood in Nashville. I want
Fanning
to
the flame or something.
Fanning the Flame of Fatherhood or something. You know, they had these grandiose titles and that sort of thing. So anyway, I just always had in my mind, because my kids and we would always have discussions about hip hop. Wow. And what it means to be a dad. By covering English, I always cover lyrics, metaphor, rhyme, rhythm, and that sort of thing. And so I would find like a lot of our discussions, centered around, my position as a father or those sort of things. And so I said, wow, wouldn't it be cool if, we had like dads, from the hip hop generation. And what really defines us is most of us in the hip hop generation are fatherless fathers. Right. Like if you look at Jay-Z, if you look at so many are rappers that, they grew up fatherless, but now they're taking the position of fatherhood. So it was just kind of cool for me to, me to introduce them to artists from my era, and they react to it, and I listen to artists from their era, and we react. and but you know what? And I found understanding. It really helped me to really understand like where they're coming from and stuff. And then Kay would jump on the show, and then she would sometimes like give it from a psychological viewpoint. Because one thing about hip hop, they always talk about trauma, and so it was a lot of us. We would talk about that. Like we had this discussion about Nicki Minaj in the story Autobiography, and she was saying like, her father was addicted to crack and how he, was abusive and how that has traumatized her to the point that she began to see her relationship with boyfriends as an extension of that father relationship. And Kay like really broke that down and for us on the show. So we did a lot of like cool things with that. We like I said, we deal with lyrics, and then it was just fun to see the boys. They were like, "No, this song is whack," and we were rating and stuff. But then it kind of evolved with me interviewing like other people working with fatherhood and stuff like that. And right now, unfortunately, it is on hiatus because I am busy teaching too much to do it right now. So got to get back into it at some point in my life.
Okay, so Dad Cipher is your passion project. Mm-hmm. What is your day to day?
I'm a college English professor at Georgia State University, Perimeter College at Dunwoody. So right now I am teaching English Composition 1, English Composition 2. But the cool thing about this is we are actually preparing. We're doing this program called From College to Career, where we're actually having their writing being geared towards preparing them for interviews, preparing them to establish themselves as a brand on social media. We're preparing them to think about emotional intelligence. So I'm having them to write stories in which they acted out a character and in a workplace, and how did they adjust to it? How do they see themselves as a Zoomer or a millennial contributing to this world? So we're doing a lot of good stuff. Yeah, they're called Zoomers now. So
that's the next Zoomer. That's the next.
Okay, so here's the thing: if you're born from 1981 to 1995, you are millennial.
Okay.
However, if you are born in 1996 to 2012, you are what's considered Generation Z or the Zoomers.
Okay.
That's what they're called. Yeah, so they're called Zoomers now, and it's some different ways that they see things. Millennials have been known for kind of being the everybody wins a trophy, kind of being viewed as like the snowflake, that sort of thing. Whereas Zoomers are kind of more viewed as they've been shaped by Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin. So they are more have a more sober view of the world, and they believe in transparency. They really want transparency back.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between the two.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, and Dr. K, tell us, do you have a passion project as well?
Not at this moment.
Okay.
Not at this
Breast
moment.
cancer walk.
Oh yeah, I did, but it's not like going hard in the paint for it. I did. I mean, I just walked 30 miles.
Yeah, I saw the photos.
I was training for that, but like an ongoing year round, no.
Okay, so what is your everyday?
Working as a psychologist. And so I do individual and family therapy. My primary focus is like middle school, high schoolers, that age. I used to do all ages from like 3 to 18, but I prefer the ones who are a little more verbal, who can get more into insight. And then with the telehealth now due to COVID, you know, for me, I find it harder to work with younger ones online. So I'm not doing any in-person therapy right now. So it's just easier having the older ones.
So do you have your own practice?
No, I'm working in a private practice right now. We just moved here last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so just getting adjusted to all of that. So my background is in community mental health, which is I prefer like lower income families and a little more complicated families. Yeah, for community mental health. And so now just getting into a private practice. So
I'm trying to get her to switch to white people problems, man. So because white people problems pay more money, and you know, black people problems don't pay.
Okay, so Dr. K, so like from a parent's perspective, right? If you know, like I know people say all the time, like, you know, us, we don't really do a lot of therapy. You know, we'll let our kids be banging their head against the wall and tell them sit down and stop it. You know, like if you had to you know, take a couple of minutes and advise like a parent what to look out for, or maybe things that might point to you know, like your child might need to talk to somebody outside of you. Like, could you do that for us?
Absolutely. When I first meet kids and I ask them, you know, what do you understand about what I do? I tell them I work with feelings, thoughts, and behaviors. And that's what I would have parents to look out for in their kids. What kind of feelings are they saying that they have? What are they showing that they have? What kind of thoughts are they having about themselves, about the world, their place in the world, about their families, life in general. And then behaviors are always going to show themselves. Right. And so, and it doesn't just have to be those behaviors that are out there, because we externalize. So we're going to show you some people putting holes in walls and cursing you out and all that kind of stuff. But the internalized stuff. And especially in our community, we get so used to, well, that's just how they are. They're just quiet. They just silly. They just off a little bit. And like, if it's something that stands out, you really need to pay attention to it and be open to, you know, does this go beyond what's normal? You know, and especially if you've had a couple of kids or you've been around kids and one seems a little bit different, I would, you know, get that, you know, checked out or problem solve with somebody like our other 10-year-olds doing this or other 3-year-olds doing that, and kind of compare to see, you know, are they on target?
Not just crazy.
Listen, all his kids are grown now.
Yeah, they're all grown.
Okay. But school changes, friend changes, and there's some things that are developmentally appropriate, meaning that, you know, all kids will go through certain things at certain times. But if it seems like they're extremes, you really need to take notice to it. But most of my clients are African American, and I can count on my hand the Caucasian families I have.
Yeah, your husband already alluded to that. Okay, so both of you guys are extremely busy.
Yes.
You know, because I know once you start counseling and therapy and talking to people, you be talking and talking and talking. So like, if you're teaching and talking and talking and talking. So when y'all get home, do y'all ever get to where you just look at each other and smile and don't talk, just sit in the room and?
Well, he tries to. I can go all night. I'm going from one thing to the next because I don't listen all day.
Okay.
So I listen all day, and then I work with kids. So it's not like we're talking about, and like your clients aren't there for you.
Right.
So I still have my needs and things I want to talk about.
Right, that you want to share. Gotcha.
So he may talk more in here, but when they go off, like I'm going for it. So no, he's more of the client side.
Yeah.
See, right. Like he used to didn't understand that. Like he was at work talking to people all day, and then he get home, and I'm like, yes, you home.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, come on, you can't give it all out when you get home. Like you gotta bring some home too.
Yeah, so we have those discussions because he's like, okay, like I need a minute. So he needs a minute, and I can go about 10 different things in 5 seconds. And so it's like, okay, where you gonna land at? And then most of it, I'm just sharing. Like I don't need an answer. I don't need anything back. I just need to get it out to somebody. Right. You in?
Right? See, he it to get it out.
And see, in my profession, is I'm not like your average everyday teacher. I don't just do a lecture. I really do performance when I teach. I'm like a part pastor, part motivational speaker, part coach, part drill sergeant,
part comedian,
because and I say this because in the world of education, we always think it's about giving the kids the content. No, it's not all about. It's just as important how you say it as what you're saying. So I try to invest myself in the oral tradition that young people are into, and I try to speak at their level, and then but still give them those seeds and jewels. So it takes. When I say I'm drained, I really do. When I'm teaching, I have the preacher handkerchief. I'm doing the sweat rag, and they reading from the book of Adolph or "Thou shalt not test me," that sort of thing. And so I'm doing that, and so by the time I get home, I'm just spent. I have given all I can. So sometimes I said, and I'll listen. It took us a minute though to get to that point because my spirit in my profession is to try to fix.
Right.
I'm about to say.
So, and she's not looking for a mentor to be fixed. So we used to bump heads at first because I'm like, well,
why don't you?
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, why don't you do that? And then I just realized I had to check myself because I was like, I have a fixed spirit.
Yes.
She's not looking to be fixed. She's just looking for me to listen.
Right.
So a lot of times I'll just listen and, but because she goes to a million different topics, sometimes I have to say, you know what? I'm going to need some signal posts to let me know when we're going to make a left to this conversation and a right to this exit. So I'm going to need that, because sometimes you're like, are you listening? I'm just like, you have mentioned 10 things. Which one did you want me to focus on? I can't do it all, so, we do that.
And then I guess you listen for the cue, like, so, there's a time where like, so what do you think I should do about that? I was like, okay, you want me to solve that one? You can answer to that one.
I didn't up solving. I was like, well, maybe you should talk to God. Or I'll do the
Okay, so what types of things do you guys do for fun?
Oh shoot. Oh, wow. Okay. Real talk, I would say this. When we do get a chance for date nights, we like to go to Cat's Cafe. It's a real nice Cat's Cafe.
K-A-T-S?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. It's a spoken word and live music spot here in Atlanta.
Okay.
Really, really nice. They have like some people that you would be surprised is not on the radio. Really great singers,
Wow.
really great poets, that sort of thing. Great spot, great jazz, great every contemporary music. So we like to do that. I'm a Marvel head, so we watch a lot of Marvel. We watch a lot of reality TV, you know, so we'll do that. And we'll talk about, we'll sit down and have conversations. We actually did a recap show on the little therapy show that was in treatment. So we did that. What else we do for fun?
Got our fantasy football going
fantasy
now.
football.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
But I got into it.
Yeah.
With him.
Oh, and she's undefeated in the league now.
Wow.
Crazy. So we do fantasy football. I think a lot of singing and joking around the house, so that sort of thing. When
still
walk, yeah. She walks a lot. I walk too, not nearly as long as her, but yeah. So we do that kind of stuff for fun. But I will say, we need to definitely work on penciling that in, more. But since I started going to school in person, it's been really a challenge because we live in McDonough and I work in Dunwoody, so it's an hour drive there and an hour drive back.
You're done.
This semester has been a challenge.
It's weird. I feel like we're still in transition. Like we met in graduate school, graduated, and then we're on our move trying to get here to move because we were in Missouri and trying to move here to Georgia. And then we moved in the middle of the pandemic. Like our fun things that really cultural things we like to do, we would do when we visited here. With the hopes, like when we moved there, it's on, and then we went COVID.
Right.
We're still yet trying to find our way. So when you ask, like, well, what do you guys do for fun? It's like we're still trying to figure that out, But those things he mentioned, we still do together.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so I guess, did you guys have family here, or did you know people here? Like, why Georgia?
Oh, I lived here. I lived here 10 years before going up to graduate school. So when we would visit, it was visiting my family, and he has family here too.
I have family.
So my mom and sister were here. I used to live here, so which was nice. I always knew I wanted to come back, and so when we started dating, and then he fell in love with Atlanta, already was interested, and I didn't feel like I was like taking him from his kids and his family because he already wanted to come. So that worked out.
So your kids are still in Missouri.
Yeah. Well, my oldest son is 21, so he's in college. My daughter is 19, and she just got accepted at another college in Missouri, Southeast Missouri State, Cape Girardeau. So she's doing her thing. The 16-year-old twins, they come and live with us during the summer and then winter breaks and that sort of thing. So we still, and they're in the football leagues with us and fantasy leagues and stuff too. So we get a chance to spend time, the two oldest kids are grown. They don't need that anymore unless they call and ask for stuff. But for the most part, it's just the 16-year-olds. And when we get here in the summer, we just really just have as much fun as we can for the summer and winter breaks. But it's tough. I would say this is the toughest transition that I've had as a dad, because I was with my kids every other week, full time, waking up, seeing them, and that sort of thing. And I'll tell you, that has been the biggest challenge. But at the same time, I knew I'm also preparing myself for life beyond the children. And that was just as important as well. So definitely. I'm not one of those, my babies could live with me forever. No.
I know, that's right. They got to go.
They got to go. I love them, but they got to go.
So I'm going to ask, it's kind of like a controversial question. But so you see online all the time, people talk about, married people or blended families or whatever. And they talk about, the kids, nobody come before my kids. It's me and my kids, and that man, my kids come first. Or, or whose plate do you fix first? Do the kids get fed? Like those kind of things. Like, so JL, I'm gonna ask you first, just in case y'all haven't. No, actually, Dr. K, I'm gonna ask you first.
Mhm.
So, do you feel like, do you feel like kids come first, or do you think your husband comes first? Like, where do you stand on the subject?
Well, see, I think you probably should have asked him first because they're his biological kids. So, I mean, in what context? In what context should they come first?
I don't know. I'm asking you. Is there a context where kids should come first, or is it always husband, wife, then kids?
I think if you're married, I do believe that bond should come first or be the strongest because they should be the lead in the home.
Right.
And so, I probably would say the couple should come first because one, they're the leaders in the home. They've got to be on the same page to set the standard, to set the stage, and then those kids are going to leave, like he just said.
Right.
So the kids are like the extra. You know what I'm saying? And of course, you balance that accordingly if kids need something and all of that. But you're still making that decision as a married couple, as the heads of the household, if you're married or not, if you're partnered in any kind of way. That's the committed relationship. That's the base and foundation. And I just feel everything comes after that. I think it's different when you're single.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can see a single parent saying, well, my kids come first because you haven't made that commitment to somebody to be one. And then that unit, goes down. So I don't know if that makes sense. But that's
okay.
Definitely.
All right, JL.
Mine is a little bit different, only because I'm thinking the first thing should come first to me is my personal relationship with God. I got to have that first. I got to have that connected, because if I'm not spiritually right, then everything else is going to fall apart. So my spiritual and mental health is very important first, because I can't expect anyone to love me unless I really understand like what it is that I need to do to love myself. And I think sometimes we get lost in that. So I try to, and think about this when you're on an airplane and they say, if you go down, put your mask on first and then do that. So the way that I would do that is, of course, I would put my mask on in a sense of making sure that, I'm spiritually grounded and trying to take care of my mental health. And then it's important that my that overflow goes immediately to my wife, and then that overflow to the children, because my wife is going to be my lifetime partner. My kids, you're blessed with kids in terms of the raising capacity for only a short, or it should be only a short amount of time. Even if you look at animals, they, like the eagle, for instance, they throw their kids over the cliff. And hopefully they fly. And so I and I'm a firm believer in letting kids fly, because it's unnatural for them to stay forever bonded in that same regard. So so I look at it. So if it came down to dinner and that sort of thing, of course I'm going to, if I'm cooking, I'm going to, as a matter of fact, when I cook, I always call Kay first. And I was like, hey, come and get your food. Because my kids, if I allow them to go first, especially if we're, if I'm cooking, I'm going to make sure Kay gets the food, especially with two 16-year-old boys. They will eat up all the food before she gets some. So, we get our plates first. And then we say, go.
Right. And then y'all have at it.
Right. So, that's what, but I'm not, no, my babies better eat, please. Those clowns will be all right, And then I was raised too under that. I was raised kind of old school where the elders ate first. when we went to like church things, they was like the elders get in line first and the kids.
Greedy church people.
You know,
You're the greedy church people.
Yeah.
You're supposed to feed the baby.
No, those elders gonna eat. They know they might not have any more meals left, so they like those kids got some meals. You know, they may not have any meals left, so so we got to make sure that they eat before they go on. They go get to heaven and be like, man, I wish I would have finished that pork chop. You know, yeah, that would have been that sort of thing. So now,
Pork chops.
Pork chops, some good stuff.
So funny. Okay, so you guys have been married how many years?
6.
Okay.
Married 6, together 10.
Okay, married 6, together 10. So if you had to give out some of the tips, some good hot marriage tips, like she said marriage tips.
Yeah. No, but she said hot marriage tips. I'm like,
I mean, it could be
not
hot
like that.
It could be like something.
I mean,
because you know how like you go into something thinking one way, and then once you married, it's like, okay, yeah, that I should have never thought that. You know what I'm saying? So like maybe stuff like that you went in thinking one way, and once you were married, you realized, yeah, that wasn't the best idea. Nobody should ever do that. Right. Like, have you had those kinds of moments, those kinds of things?
You know what? I want to say for the most part, we didn't. I think because we were more seasoned, we kind of old. Yeah, we were old. And that, and I'll say this. Well, maybe it's not even an age thing. I would say this. I was doing my mental health and stuff journey beforehand, so I was really looking at what I knew what I need to discover who I was and what made me happy and that sort of thing. And I think that's very important because you can't expect your partner to come in and fix you or complete you. You have to be complete in yourself. Absolutely. And then you complement each other. So I would probably say for couples, I would definitely do like the spiritual or mental health counseling just as individuals, because sometimes we have grown up with a lot of traumas and stuff that we need to fix before we bring somebody else into our baggage. And then I would say the other advice is, make sure that you don't give too many people information about your relationship, because information is power. And so the more information you give to a person about your marriage, the more power they seem to have over it. So that's the thing. So that's what I would say. What about you?
Is he okay?
Oh, time's up.
No. Yeah, it got a law for different stuff that I do, but I
think the biggest thing I would say is just don't lose yourself in the process. Okay. Stay true to who you are. Have some flexibility about things, especially if it's a big change. I mean, like I said, I wasn't dating anybody. Right. And so to not be dating anybody, used to my own space, my own time, and somebody who's got 4 kids, and then their other life that they then bring, it was a lot. It was quite a bit, but the biggest thing is just open communication. But we talked a lot from the beginning, so marriage was just a natural for us. We got to know each other ahead of time, so we weren't like, we love watching Married at First Sight. We ain't like people who just show up, get married, and you know what I'm saying, or even dating a short time. So we knew each other, we knew who we were. So I think we didn't have a big transition, the marriage part, it came easily. And we, little quirks here and there of, how I like to rotate my towels certain ways and linens done certain ways. And so it's like, okay, you just do that. If that's your thing, you do that.
Right.
But we didn't have a whole bunch of problems. Like you said, we were working on ourselves. I have my own therapist that I see, even as a psychologist. Most good therapists have their own. Mm-hmm. And so, talking stuff over with her and that kind of thing. So,
yeah. The main thing, work on yourself. If you work on yourself, I think whatever you give, it should always be in your overflow. You know, even from a biblical standpoint, they say, you know, my cup runneth over. Well, if I'm empty, I can't pour anything into her. If she's empty, she can't pour anything into me. So we just try to give from our overflow. And if our flow ain't right with ourselves, you know, we're really doing a disservice to the other person. So we got to get ourselves in order. So
listen, I went into, let me tell you, and this was like, because we got married at 21.
Yeah.
The first time.
Oh, first time. Okay, cool.
Yo, how many times I've been married?
That's a whole nother show.
Now,
but when we first got married,
What'd you say?
Y'all married each other multiple times?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's okay. It happens.
We'll share that to you, bro.
Yeah, when we close, we'll share. But like I got married and I think it probably came from TV because I don't like that whole never go to bed angry, never let the sun go down on your wrath.
Yeah.
So like, you know, something would happen and now I'm up because I'm feeling like we need to talk about this before we go to bed. And this joker is sleeping like a baby. So now I'm even madder than when it started. So now have I not only gone to bed angry, but I wake up even angrier. Like I would say that was one of the.
What's wrong?
Right, and now he want to wake up. Good morning, honey, and I'm like,
I resolved that in my head when I went to sleep. Like we had the conversation.
Right, you know, and I'm all but foaming at the mouth. I would say like that was like the dumbest thing that I tried when we got married, and I stuck to that for. Let me tell you, stupidity goes far because I stuck to that for some years, even though it wasn't working, and I would just be mad at him because he wouldn't stay away.
Right.
No,
and I just had to learn to conversate. You know, actually get to like, okay, I get it. You're mad. This ain't gonna go away. But we need to go sleep. You know, like have that kind of agree to disagree moments. You know.
Mm-hmm. Or you know, what do we say? We just need to couch this conversation.
Right. Put a pin in it.
That's all.
A whole lot of heated things, but I was 40. I mean, when we got married, 40 or 41, so we were in our 40s. He was on his second marriage, and so I'd never been married, so we were just in a whole different place.
Yeah.
All I can say is God prepared me through my first wife for Karen because,
nice.
Because that first one, that would be a whole different joke. That would be like you'd be like, whoa, my God. but I would say, because you know I've been through the fire, I felt it was like you know, with Karen, it was like this is different and it's good, you know. And I would say this, you know, no disrespect to my ex, and that's the thing. I think the thing is we both didn't really love ourselves first. And that's why and so when I was got into dating Karen and eventually married, the thing that I loved about I love that she has a strong sense of herself. She know who she is. She's not trying to figure this thing out. She has a strong will, a strong identity, and you know, and she's also allow herself to be a work in progress, and I respect that. And you know, and she respect my growth and that sort of thing too. And so I would say that's what really helped us, the fact that we both do therapy, we both you know, willing to work and try to better ourselves for each other. So I think that's important.
That's good. All right. So we appreciate you guys being on and sharing your wisdom and your journey and being a part of this conversation. If there's nothing of all hearts and mind are clear.
Don't hang up. You guys, we'll come back.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, thanks for having us. Yeah. Yo, check out this show. It's hot. It's the Purpose for Forever.
Forever. There you go. All right. So appreciate you guys for watching and hanging out with us, even with the Facebook issues. Thank you for hanging with us. As always, love intentionally
love unconditionally,
and love on purpose.
Me and you together, our purpose for forever. Won't let nothing ever tear us apart. Me and you